Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Um, so, I wanted to share this story of Jeff, the security guard. Now, I just got done doing a sales training with some packaging sales reps. And this is one of the stories that I share when I talk about cold calling and some of the things that I used to do and some of the crazy situations that I've gotten myself in. Um, because we were talking about business development and how oftentimes in business development, there's such an emphasis on skills of being able to go out and acquire new business. The hunter farmer mentality. A lot of companies look at somebody like a farmer and they go, man, like if you're a farmer, you're incredibly valuable. And so when I started out in um, packaging sales, and that was a skill set that I started developing. I would go out and I'd cold call all the time. And it was something that I really got to enjoy doing. Um, and I was willing to do anything as long as it was morally and ethically okay, and did not, dishonor my own values or my company values or anything like that. I pretty much was like, it's game on. I was almost willing to do anything and everything I could to create attention to have a conversation. And so I was sharing the story, and I want to share with you guys just because I think it's funny. It's it's interesting to hear, and maybe you'll get a laugh out of it. Maybe you won't. Um, but I had moved into this business development role where pretty much all the time I was out calling on new business, net new. So we had zero sales, zero contacts, anything like that. So this was something that I would go and do. And there was this company. It was down in Loudon, Tennessee, right outside of Knoxville, and they were a wood flooring manufacturer. And I had gone down and I had called on this place several times, and there was a security guard by the name of Jeff. Now, Jeff was probably in his early 60s. It didn't look like he was in the greatest shape, and he was kind of your stereotypical security guard at a manufacturing plant. Like when, there was a little guard shack, there was a fence that kind of blocked everything off. There wasn't like one of those, the arms, the automated arms. There wasn't anything like that. It was pretty open. But Jeff was there with his clipboard with all types of papers and documents on it. I've always kind of questioned what was on that clipboard, because it was stacked full of papers. And so I would pull up, and Jeff would be there with his stack of papers, and he would always stop me. This happened 5 or 6 times. He would always stop me, and he'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Do you have an appointment?" Very serious. Do you have an appointment? No, I don't. My name is Jonathan. I sell packaging supplies. I'm trying to figure out who I might need to get a hold of. Well, that's me. Oh, okay. So you're the decision maker of who buys the packaging and shipping products here. Yep, that's me. You got to go through me. Okay. So which, let's be honest, it was not Jeff, but Jeff was the gatekeeper. And every single time he stopped me and he would ask me the same question. And it's not like it was like once a year that I would stop by. One time I stopped by twice in 1 week, and he asked me the exact same question as if he had no clue who I was. Jeff had to 100% know who I was. And so this happened 5 or 6 times. And finally I was just frustrated. And I decided, you know what? I'm getting by Jeff today. That was my mindset. I'm going to go back down to Loudon. I'm going to go to this company, and I am going to get by Jeff. That was the goal. And so I drive down to Loudon, and you come around the curve. You go over some railroad tracks. You come around the curve, and there it is. There's the fence. There's the guard shack, and there's Jeff standing there with his clipboard, as always. And it was in that moment I knew I really had no other choice. And I floored it. I hit the gas and I floored it. And I just, vroom, right by Jeff. I didn't stop. I just like sped by him. And if you guys have watched movies when somebody like speeds past like a guard shack and they've got their clipboard and all this stuff and the clipboard and the papers go flying, well, that's exactly what happened with Jeff, because I'm sure his life probably flashed before his eyes. And the clipboard goes, and I look in my rearview mirror, and the clipboard and the papers are flying. It's like straight out of a movie. And Jeff is just running. I mean, his arms are pumping and he's running, and I'm just cruising into the parking lot. Now, the vehicle that I was driving is not like it fit in with all the other vehicles. And here's the reason why. So we were given company cars and we could choose the color. And as I was going through, we were given Nissan Rogues, right? And you could go through and pick the color. Well, I was going through, I was on the Nissan website, I was looking at it. And let me just preface it with this. I am not colorblind. I can see color. Those are white frames behind me, the Superman, yellow, red, all this stuff. Like, I can see color. So I go and I'm on Nissan's website and I'm looking at the Nissan Rogues. This is back in probably 2012, 2013, somewhere around in there. And I see this color on the website that to me looks almost like a pewter gray. It's not. It's amethyst black, which apparently amethyst is like a purple. I didn't know that. It has a purple tone to it. Had no clue. So when I went and picked up this Nissan Rogue from the car dealership, my new company car, it was purple. I still get made fun of it today that people can't believe that I picked a purple car, but I did. So I digress. So again, it's not like I have some incredibly inconspicuous car that fits in comparison to all the other cars in the parking lot. So again, I blow by Jeff, pedal to the metal, no stopping, papers flying everywhere, clipboard flying. Jeff is running his little heart out. And I pull in and I can see him coming. And I just thought, you know what? This is where the rubber meets the road, right here. And I'm starting to get out of my car, get out of the Rogue. And as soon as I'm getting out, he's caught up to me. Like, he was incredibly spry, like incredibly fast for an older man who did not look like he could run as fast as what he did. He ran incredibly fast. It was actually really impressive. Really impressive. And so I get out of the car and there's Jeff and he says, breathing super heavy. What is wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing. I wanted to get by you. I didn't say that to him, but in my head, I was like, nothing's wrong with me. You sound like you're about to have a heart attack. I'm perfectly fine. But he's breathing heavy. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you stop? And I said, well, Jeff, I didn't think I had to. Well, what do you mean? Jeff just red face, sweating, panting, just gasping for breath. What do you mean you didn't think you had to stop? Didn't you see the sign? And it was at this moment, I knew I had won. I said, yeah, I actually did see the sign, Jeff. That's why I didn't think that I needed to stop. What are you talking about? I said, well, Jeff, the sign on your gate says all trucks must stop. I'm in an SUV. The look on Jeff's face, he had to think that I was a complete and total idiot, but I was 100% right. And he looks at me and he turns and he looks back at his sign and he turns and he looks back at me. And his shoulders just kind of slump. Man, what do you need? That's what he asked me. Just so defeated, poor guy. Man, what do you need? I said, Jeff, look, man, I come down here all the time. You've always stopped me. I sell packaging products, shipping supplies and stuff like that. I'm seriously just trying to find a name and an email and a contact number to see if it makes sense to set up a meeting. That's it. That's all I've ever wanted. He goes, fine. Go in there to the phone in the lobby and press 0 and let him know I said it's okay. And he goes walking back, picking up his papers along the way, grabbing his clipboard, and I go in and I was able to get the information that I needed. The incredible part of the story, or the sad part of the story, is I ended up not doing any business with this company because they were already being really well taken care of by their supplier. And I'm not the type of salesperson who manufactures pain. Like, I don't make it up or try to create pain for them. They were being very well taken care of. But I share that story because when you're out prospecting for new business, there's going to be all types of obstacles that you chase, or that you face, and that they come up, and they're frustrating, and you sometimes don't know how you're going to overcome them when you think that there's a really good chance that you have an opportunity to really help this customer. And so, when those obstacles come up, you have to make a decision. Are you willing to pursue that opportunity with reckless abandon? Do anything and everything you can, morally and ethically right, to make that outcome happen, to get that conversation, to connect with that prospect? And for a lot of salespeople, that answer is no. Because when it really comes down to it, they're always going to stop at the guard shack. They're always going to stop. They're not going to risk just being absolute just nuts and flying by and not stopping because the sign says all trucks must stop. And I'm in an SUV. So I hope this encourages you. I hope this is something that you can use and realize that whatever obstacle you're currently seeing is keeping you from being able to find that name, to get that contact, to have that conversation with that person, that the obstacle is 100% the way. See, the thing was, Jeff was exactly who I needed to be able to get the information that I needed. And instead of looking at him as an obstacle, I was able to kind of flip the script on him and use all of the control and everything that he wanted ultimately against him, because he was trying to stop all of the trucks, all of the semi trucks that were coming in, either delivering or whatever. Like that, what was on his clipboard was all those schedules and everything, who the truck drivers were, what they were delivering, and all this stuff, but because he was there, he also had power to stop me. I just chose to use the rules in my favor. I wasn't in a truck. I was in an SUV. According to the sign, I didn't have to stop. And because I was willing to take that risk, Jeff ended up being exactly who I needed him to be, which was somebody who helped me gain the information that I needed for making that cold call. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you find a little bit of humor, a little bit of joy, and a little bit of encouragement in that story. I love you. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and we'll talk soon.